So, hey everybody, Bengi, what are the main things? Do we want to talk about Canto? Do we want to talk about the Canto Name Service? What should we focus on? What are you curious about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to go through all of it, top to bottom. So I guess just to get us started here, just give us just a brief introduction about yourselves, just your background, maybe background in Web3, and then just how you got started on the project, how you got involved with Canto.
Yeah, sure thing. So basically, as you can hear, I'm French. This is a proof of decentralization, this accent. So I hope it's not going to be bothering you during the call. The idea is that I got into crypto in 2016. I was a Bitcoiner at the beginning, but that's a long time ago. Then basically there was like two cycles. I joined full time last year. My background is in corporate finance, and basically in October, to get closer to what matters here, in October I met Dengi, who's the second part of the Canto Name Service, during the Canto Online Hackathon, the first season that happened during DEF CON, when a lot of Ethereum people were in Bogota. Basically, it was the month, the 3 weeks during which the Canto Online Hackathon 1 happened, and I met Dengi. Dengi, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Everybody, I am a crypto dev, I guess we'll say, full stack dev now. How I got started in crypto, I was interested in it from the beginning, and I saw Ethereum around like $4 and said like, that's weird, never mind. And then bought some stupid stuff at the top of the last cycle in Coinbase. I remember I was at a Christmas party buying Bitcoin over 20K, and I was dumb at the time, but whatever. We're here now. And then got back involved through Top Shot when that took off, and then got into trading NFTs, trading coins, DeFi, and I've always been a nerd. And crypto being an open environment really appealed to me as far as learning to be a dev and upskilling in that regard. So I read contracts. I read a lot of contracts. I learned the technical side of Ethereum. I learned the technical side of Solidity. And my first dev experience was with my PFP through Hot Dogs. It's an NFT project. It's fun profile picture, whimsical. And then the next big opportunity I took was to join up with Victor as part of the Canto Hackathon. Me and my home Discord, we were involved in Canto from the testnet because, hey, in crypto, you try things. You do the things that are hard and that are a challenge, because that means it's not as crowded. So we were involved in Canto in that regard. And then there was a Canto Hackathon. So, they're going to give me these tokens for trying to write code. Cool, let's do it, and we'll find a team. And so Victor had the idea of having a name service native to Canto, and then I had the idea to use Vergdas, which I think we should probably go a little bit deep into Vergdas if people are nerdy enough to care. But basically all that means is if people buy, the price goes up. If people don't buy, the price goes down. And I thought it was a really neat pricing mechanic. So we smashed our two ideas together, and we won the Canto Hackathon for DeFi and infrastructure, and then built, and here we are. We released around Valentine's Day. So yeah, that's CNS. That's me. Shout out to Scott. I know Scott from way back when in a different Discord. So it's cool to come full circle. And crypto is a small world, so don't be assholes. I'll say that as advice.
That's awesome, and yeah, appreciate the background. You sound like fine gentlemen with a passion for the space, maybe a little degen edge there, trading and whatnot. So I guess let's start with the hackathon. Could you all maybe for those uninitiated, could you tell me what a hackathon is, how that works, and then what the objective is, or is it sponsored by someone? Walk us through that.
Yeah, specifically the Canto one, it is sponsored by the shadowy Canto contributors. I guess it's through the Canto governance, actually. But they incentivize you to build and give you tokens for building on Canto. So the whole idea behind the hackathon, or most hackathons, is it's a set period of time and you build something that's specifically specifically within that time period. Now, there's some leeway in there as far as if you've been chewing on an idea and just start getting the team together in that time period. But the real point of it is it's here's a month, here's a week, here's a weekend, build something and see what happens. And then specifically for Canto, they got judges from around crypto to be the judges for the hackathon, and then they awarded prizes. They were, I think the first one was 100,000 Canto total. I think Victor would likely remember, but it's 300,000 Canto now.
You're right.
For the current one.
Very cool. Gotcha. It's like a game jam, but like for coders, right? You just come in, make something, and you guys made CNS.
Yeah, we made a stripped down version of it to get it out quickly. I'm sure there were bugs in the code. We didn't deploy it to production, but yeah, we made a quick UI and a quick contract for it, and people liked it.
It's pretty badass, man. Love it. Love the origin story. So yeah, I guess just walk us through CNS. Like, what is it? What does it do? What problem are you trying to solve? All that type of stuff.
Victor, you want to take that one?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add to the hackathon that if there are people in the crowd who are non-technical yet super interested in Ethereum and crypto or in Canto, it's definitely worth applying even though you're not technical. So I have zero technical skills, yet I went to the Telegram group and on there, basically I was able to assemble a team of like-minded people. So it's important to know and to repeat that hackathons are not necessarily only for technical people. There is a big need in growth, in design, or in technical documentation. So it's a lot of different stuff that many different people can do, and it's really worth it. And I think I have to say that there's Canto that I would definitely recommend, because now the price is pretty high. It's 150,000 USD at current Canto price, split among a lot of people. And then there is ETH Global that also has monthly hackathon that is about the same amount. So it's actually big money in the hackathon system, let's say.
Hey, that's some alpha right there. Big money and big talent, right? Not just technical talent either.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I didn't reply to your question about CNS. Yeah. So did you want to answer the question? Because I forgot the question. I was focused on the hackathon.
Sure. No. Just asking for, I guess just start us off. Like, walk us through CNS. What is it? What does it do? Are there any challenges you had, or any problems you sought out to solve with it? Yeah, just give us the full rundown here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So how we came to what is so Dengi is going to give the technical approach from a conceptual approach. Let's say that the .com domain name, they are unavailable. We have the .com domain names that were free until 95. So anybody could claim for free .com domain names. Of course, in 95 they had zero value. Nobody could use them, but still, a lot of people got a bunch of domain names, and they're keeping them for 30 years, and they have not been used for those 30 years. So that was Web 1. Then with Web 3, with ENS, they had a set price of 5 USD per year, and that led to somehow the same scenario where there is Nick.eth, who's the founder of ENS, who they introduced a bunch of mechanism to penalize people who bought the first ENS. And even Vitalik came in and he wrote a couple of blog posts on what are the best way to remove domain name squatter from ENS. And I think that it's really strange that for .coms, people were able to sit on something for 30 years, and for ENS, that they have this family war where the early backers are being trashed by the ENS team. So knowing this, we wanted to do something better. So we introduced dynamic pricing. Dengi, what was the inspiration for the dynamic pricing?
If you all remember, I think it was October-ish when Art Gobblers minted. That was a really hype mint between Paradigm and Justin Roiland. all of the drama around Justin aside, I really liked the tech behind the Vergdas, the auctions, and a lot of the reason that I followed it was because of a super giga nerd, like high school kid, transmission. I think he's in high school still. Transmissions 11, aka T11. If you're a nerd, if you want to be involved in Ethereum or you want to learn Solidity, that's what person to follow. Like follow his GitHub, follow him on Twitter, because just incredibly smart person to follow. So they had the pricing mechanism, not specifically for, I guess technically for the gobblers eventually, but for the goo that the gobblers emitted, or for the other gobblers that minted via the goo, they introduced Vergdas. So essentially what that meant was, over a period of time, if somebody bought a gobbler, the cost for the next gobbler would go up. And as time went on, if people didn't buy the gobblers, and the price went down. So a way that I explained it to my non-technical wife is that you're basically solving for the number of things you want to sell over a time period, not the price of the things. So for our example, we want to sell, we'll take the one character names as an example. We want to sell one every 2 days, and then you set a target price. So if the last price is above, or if the current price is above the target price, then the price is going to go down. If the number sold is lower than what you want it to be, then the price will go down. If the number sold is greater than the number you want it to be at a given period in time, it's going to go up. So I just like that idea, because the whole idea there would be people are degenerates like me, and I think like a degenerate. And when they see something come out, they're going to say, oh, I want to buy Vitalik. That's the name that I want. And then if they want to, that's fine. But there's also a lot of names that are going to come out that might be very valuable. So what can we do is just let the market figure it out and say, okay, people are rushing to buy 3 character names, then the price is going to go way up. We're not doing that manually. It's not simple, but it's math that's figuring it out for us automatically. So I just like that, where we could kind of, as the developers of the protocol, we dictate parameters, but we're not dictating the direct price related to it. We're letting the market dictate it. And what that also does is it incentivizes us to drive up demand for our product, essentially, which is names. So that is a built-in reason for us to build and to keep building, because if we don't, then people aren't going to buy it. So then they go to zero. And that's as simple as that. And I like to think about those things in incentives. And so what are Victor and I incentivized to do? We want to get people to buy names. How are we going to do that? We can get into that more a little bit later as far as future plans and near future plans, hopefully. But yeah, that's the long spiel about Vergdas and why I was interested in them.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting because myself, I saw the chart with the prices for, I had the 1 character, 2 character, et cetera. And I had a little sticker shock. I was like, whoa, those are like really expensive. It's like, I need to roll my sleeves up, see what's going on with this thing, figure it out. So yeah, like you said, you can dictate the parameters, right? But you're not impacting the price once it's out. The market decides once it's out. But you do kind of dictate the starting prices, right? Like those parameters that you put in, you're kind of setting a bar. Like you kind of choose where you place it, right? It gives you some control.
Correct. Yeah, for sure. So there is a starting place that we started with, and I was when we were talking about, Victor and I were talking about what to set the numbers at to start. We were initially talking about it before the incredible interest in Canto started kicking off, and so our numbers were a little bit different. And then when people started getting more interested and tweeting about Canto and Cantofornia and Web Plus and all that stuff was taken off, we're like, okay, specifically for the 6+ names, we're like, I don't know, we need to make this high so people don't get wrecked trying to buy these names. So we set it up to 100, and then we've recently lowered that down to 10 per day is what our goal is going to be. 10 per day at 10 Canto. And there is, yeah, I'll call it a bug. There's a bug in that the number sold doesn't reset when I reset the pricing. So what does that mean? There was big hype for our names in the beginning. So people bought 600 names or whatever. I don't remember the total number, but all of those numbers are taken into account compared to when I reset the pricing. So it's going to take a while for that number to go down to where we want it to be, essentially. So it's one thing that I can't change in this smart contract is that pricing, but over time it will decrease, thankfully. But yeah, if you go look right now for the names, the pricing is also higher than expected, I would say.
So let's be visual for the people who don't see it. Basically, we changed the daily target of releases, and while we changed it, it led to I just posted it in the chat. Yeah. In the guest questions chat. Basically, as we can see for the 6 and 6 Plus, we are technically now the price is all the Canto of the world for one domain name, but we expect it to smoothen out and to go lower than the five letter character domain over the coming weeks.
Yeah, wow, that is a staggering number of Canto. That's a little cash grabby to me. I'll be the first one to come out and say it. That's quite a bit.
Please don't buy. Do not buy.
All right, cool. Okay, so pricing aside, I guess talk utility to us, because most of us are familiar, at least with some level, with ENS. So is this basically the same as ENS? We can get, you can send people ETH through MetaMask to that ENS, .canto name, and you can like get governance rights or something like that. Or where are we as far as utility? Like, what does it do?
It is not as developed as ENS. So it's almost like when we were thinking through like a naming service, we're like, what is it? It's not really at the protocol level. Like if you send a raw transaction, you can't send it to dangywing.eth. It's just not a valid address. So you need something to interpret that string or that text of dangywing.eth to what my actual address is or my wallet is. So it's essentially a social convention in a lot of ways. And so what we're doing now is trying to build that up. By build that up, that is, I want to get good developer documents out, because I want, when you connect to a site, to see your primary CNS name instead of your current Ethereum address or your Ethereum style address. I want to build tooling on our website where you can type in a name, send some Canto if you want, or send some Canto Inu if you want to another address, send an NFT, whatever. I want to build all that stuff so it's more simple to use. Wallets will be, I don't know, if we get integrated, if and when we get integrated with Wallet, it'll be a huge win for us, just because I think they'll be one of the last ones to adopt that kind of utility for an alt L1 naming service. But if so, we've done a hell of a good job. And then the other thing that we want to do as a team is we want to provide utility back to the community, and that's, I mean, like we've kind of covered a little bit already. I'm a degenerate. I think most of the time when people say that, it's BS. But the Canto ecosystem ethos is such that I think you kind of have to. Like, that's the whole idea, is we're in it together. We want community-owned protocols to be the standard on Canto. And so as such, because we've taken in revenue, we want to use that, and we want to help build other builders and help other builders make a better experience on Canto for other users. So we are going to do that as a kind of general project outside of just the naming functions that we're going to have.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm not super familiar. So are there other like L1 naming services for like all of the blockchains? Like, is there some version of, NS out there for everything? Or is it sort of a new area that you guys are breaking into?
There's some here and there. Like, there's even others on Canto. There's another naming service that did not get the traction that we have gotten so far. We're not an official quote unquote naming service with the protocol or anything like that. So that's one thing to note as well. We'll be very transparent about it, but we want to be the adopted naming service for Canto. I'm not sure, Victor, do you know of other?
Yes, let me jump in.
Do it.
So there are four other identity protocols on Canto. Some of them with different level of traction, let's say. So far, so we've been the first one in the sense that we were part of the Canto Hackathon season 1. We were not the first one to deploy on our contract. We are for sure now. There are five of us, and there might be 15 in the long term, right? But so far we have let's say the biggest traction, and we are welcoming any healthy innovation in a sense, because CNS is a big innovation with the dynamic pricing. There are a couple of projects who did low effort EMS talks where they just copy pasted. Oh, can you hear me still?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, awesome, sorry. Yeah, and so those projects, okay, were not so interesting to me, but we definitely want to see cool stuff being built on Canto. This is what it's about building. Canto is about building things. So we're gonna try to build the best, but of course we want to see cool things being built by other people.
Yeah, that is wild. Like, I'm kind of blown away. You said 5 identity protocols. Like, Jesus Christ, there's only one marketplace. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think there was that many builders. So there's a bunch of guest questions accumulating. I just want to jump straight into this one because it's so relevant. But yeah, so do you guys know of anybody building like a functioning marketplace? Because Alto is pretty bad as far as the user experience and just trying to, like actually buy anything. So like, yeah, you guys heard any rumblings about a marketplace or anything?
I have not gone through the latest hackathon teams, but I'm very bullish on those hackathon teams. Like DeFi Llama is one, for example. And they're if you don't know about DeFi Llama, they're a great team of just incredible builders. And in my view, their swap is the best swap to use, their swap aggregator. So just the fact that they were interested in Canto brings to mind that we're getting more legitimacy. Now, I haven't been trading NFTs on Canto lately. I've honestly been head down like building stuff. But when I was trading a little bit, the big issue was RPCs. And they are coming, but I think there's still an issue with a lack of public RPCs that people use. So what that means is basically when you connect or like read from a blockchain, you're using an RPC. And if everybody's using one, it gets congested and things struggle. So we need more RPCs out there for people to use to distribute the load. So then it'll be easier for Alto to get all the information about the NFTs to present it to the user so it's cleaner. I don't know if there's another one being built at the moment, but I mean, going back to plugging the hackathon, if you want to build a marketplace, that's a perfect opportunity to do so and get paid for basically your testing work. It'd be good to have a working format out there, but I mean, if not, then you can get as far as you can and then present it to the judges. So that's a long way of saying no. I don't know of a relief in that regard, but I think there is help coming in the medium term at least.
Interesting. So you don't think it's necessarily full on them as a marketplace? It's more so just there's not enough RPCs. Scotco also asked a guest question like, do you think Alto is holding back the NFT trading volume for Canto?
I mean, sure. Like, yeah, I think it definitely is. You look at Blur, the recent things aside, it brought a bunch of volume back to the NFT market. Their whole goal and Pac-Man's whole goal is to bring liquidity to NFT trading, which is a challenge. Like the joke for 2 years has been we're trading liquid JPEGs, and they literally made them liquid, which is crazy. Like people, my fellow degenerates don't think that's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. But I do think a poorly functioning marketplace is holding back NFTs because degens have a place, and that place is price discovery, I think. So if you can't quickly transact and buy and sell NFTs, degens are going to walk away and go somewhere else to spend their time and their capital not providing that liquidity. So then what happens is, oh, this is a cool NFT project, but it's not going to mint out because people don't think they can make money off of it. So then everything dies. So to kind of draw a line all the way back from the marketplace through degenerates back to creators. I think you're right that without a functioning marketplace, we're in a tough spot. But I am hopeful. I'm going to go look up the finalists for the Canto Hackathon and see if there's a marketplace on there actually.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and just throw out another one of these guest questions. This one's also from Scott Coe. He says, as contributors very early to Canto, what are your overall thoughts on the chain and growth potential?
So I'm super excited about it. I really think that the potential is huge, and it's like I feel weird because now for the last, let's say, 3 or 4 years, I've been only looking at Ethereum and not really being much interested in other L1s, but Canto has this different vibe of the no VC, it's the no VC chain, which is not really true anymore because a bunch of firms announced that they took position in Canto. Yet the retail had the possibility to get in before anybody else. And if retail was following big Ethereum builders, they would have heard about Canto, and that's a huge claim to fame that most, or like 95% of L1 cannot say. So that's one of the big reasons why I'm bullish on Canto. Then the second one, we've been talking about it a lot, is the fact that it's focused on builders. The third one, let's say that there is no foundation, there is no logo, there is no team. So that's also pretty nice for me. And Canto is what people are going to make out of Canto as well. So it can really evolve. There is no one use case that we have to go with. So that's for all those reasons. When I compare, then I can compare it to Ravencoin, let's say, and Ravencoin is the market cap is much higher than Canto. Ravencoin is useless. It's like proof of work. Like I could go on and trash Ravencoin for a few minutes. I'm not going to do it, but there is a lot of crappy projects with much higher market capitalization. So I think Canto, as Canto gains traction, it's going to be big. Yeah, and that's why we're excited, and that's why we're building CNS.
Love it. Are there any insights that you guys could give on the founders of Canto, like stuff they may have planned for the future or stuff in the works or anything like that?
One thing that is in the works, let me back up 1 second. I did look to see if there's any marketplaces. I didn't check every single project, but there is one that's funnily similar. It is ArtLink Network, and they are a, quote, marketplace where Canto NFT owners can buy exclusive token-gated products and create products to sell using their NFTs. So basically, if you own X NFT, you could buy some socks, for example. So we're almost there, like so close to a marketplace, but not really. As far as things that the Canto contributors are building, I know of one, and Scott's mentioned it, that it's an audit now, and it's an identity protocol, and that will eliminate squatting. And I don't know what it is, so I can't speak on it. If he pulls off what he's trying to pull off, as far as like what it aspires to be, then it'll be huge. I think like a really big deal. But he also hasn't.
Those socks sound like a big deal. Can you drop that link for me or DM that directly? By the way.
Yeah. I'll actually send. I'll share like a link to the hackathon stuff, because I do think that's good alpha. And the hackathon presentations are on Sunday. So if you have some time, I would sit in and chat there. So the identity protocol, it's a challenge for us because it could be a direct competitor to us. And like Scott Lewis is seen as like the grand poobah of Canto, even though he would tell you it's a free marketplace, whatever, all that stuff. People look to him as far as being the daddy of Canto, if you will. So we'll see what happens with that identity protocol. I don't see a way for him to achieve what he's trying to do, but that doesn't mean he can't do it. It just means that I'm too dumb to figure it out, probably. So we'll see. I'm excited to see what he tries to pull off with it.
Yeah, that was actually one of the next guest questions was, what thoughts on him building a competitor? It sounds like a direct competitor, and you just referenced him as dad, so it doesn't have you worried. You guys are strapped in and ready to go.
I mean, listen, we control what we can control. And we can control building nice products. We can control having opportunities like this to talk to groups about what we're doing and put out there what our vision is and what our goals are for the name service. We want to be the name for Canto. We want to build infrastructure for Canto. And yeah, the bottom line is if whatever Scott is building is like, hey, here's your name, here's how to reserve it, and it's a great new way to distribute an identity protocol on a blockchain, we lose. That's just it. That's how it goes. We can't beat it if he solves the problem that we're trying to solve better than us. So I think that's the bottom line, is we're not deluded into thinking that we are going to beat Scott, but we're going to sure as hell try to do our best to be the naming protocol, because we're both trying to make careers in crypto. So I think our public reputation is somewhat on Canto Name Service. So it's not like we're not going to build it. We're not going to try and develop it. So moving forward, that's what I'm excited about for the name service. And I'm excited that Scott said on the day that we started minting, he's like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And I totally agree with that mentality in a lot of ways. And I'm hoping that he solves the problem, because then I think crypto moves forward in general. But I'm also hoping that Canto Name Service is the one name service to beat all others on Canto.
Man, I appreciate the answer, man. That's very transparent, very just raw answer. I feel it. What the fuck else are you going to do, right? If he comes along and does it, it's like, well, checkmate, right? I feel that. Have you guys talked to him, or you have like a line of communication? Could you go help him build it? If Canto's all about the builders, I mean, surely they'd want to prop you guys up, right? Could you integrate the tech or something?
Maybe. We briefly talked to him after the first hackathon, but I think, I don't know. He had different visions for ways that he wanted to move forward with the project, it seemed like. So he said, okay, we'll build our thing then. So then we did. I think Scott he's very smart as far as like big picture thinking in crypto and ideating around crypto. He spent more time thinking about crypto and blockchains and incentivizing users and like public utility than I ever will in my life, probably. So he's much better at that than I ever will be. So I don't know. That's why I'm leaving the door open to like, maybe he did solve it. Maybe he has this novel mechanism that's going to do it. But I also think for us, like, our pricing is a way to attack. Here's all the names, they're $5 versus kind of solving for time and leveling the distribution that way through our pricing mechanism.
Gotcha. What if he takes that too?
He's not taking it. That's fine. We took it from Paradigm.
No,
I don't care.
I feel you. All right. Well, shit. So we got some more guest questions. So one of them, this one's interesting. It's from Poppy. So what do you guys plan to do with the rewards from winning the Canto Hackathon? Like, is there anything specific? Was that like paid in Canto? Like, are you guys just like Canto Giga Whales now?
I wish we were Canto Giga Whales. It was a long time ago. We received how much did we receive? Was it 10,000 Canto per team member, Dengi? To be super specific?
No, it was less than that. But I think they're talking about like the revenue we took, right? Not took, but the revenue people paid for the names since we launched.
No. This was specific to the rewards from the hackathon you guys won. Like, is there any plans for that? Or did you guys? I mean, I don't know. It's just a guess question.
I got you.
If there's nothing specific, that's totally fine. Charles W, you spend it on what you want.
No. I'm happy to talk about that. Like, I have weird emotions when it comes to like making money for stuff, I think. So I remember with the first hackathon money, I was talking to my home Discord and like, holy shit, I just got paid like. And I know, like, back from being a DJ, and I remember when people would watch like a contract, like, so and so Animal Project moved the funds already. They're a rug, and so like I got nervous about moving the funds that I got from this hackathon, but then they're like, no, like, you made money, like, it's fine. So I took that money and converted it to stables, and then finally bridged it out, I think last week or something. And so that. I would take that as the Canto ecosystem paying us for our efforts towards building in Canto. Because we were, what was it, Victor? Were there like 7 teams in the first hackathon?
There were much fewer teams than at the current edition. Yes.
Yeah. So like we helped build Canto in a way, because if 3 teams chose not to build in the Canto hackathon, there were 5 people, and like, okay, so Canto's a dead chain. Nobody wants to build when they're paid to build on it. So I think we deserve that money, and we were fine to. I felt very comfortable bridging that out. As far as the money we've taken for the Canto Name Service, however, we do have plans for it. We are going to compensate ourselves, and we're going to not compensate. We're going to reserve some to use to help benefit Canto writ large. We're leaving that open just because, like, we don't want to have like a mini Canto hackathon with the money that we are going to keep behind, but we are going to reserve it to help the community, whatever the heck that means. We'll see.
Sounds good. Sorry, please, Victor, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that with my part of the hackathon prize money, I was taking it because Canto reward were really high, and now it got slashed twice, I think, or the percentage of staking decreased twice. So maybe at some point I will stop staking, but maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year. Let's see.
Hell yeah, stake it up. I was gonna say the alpha might be to host a marketplace generation hackathon. Like, everybody get in here and make a marketplace. One of you, one of you will survive. We'll make it happen. And start with liquidity. Yeah, use that blur euphoria, man. Get that going. Okay, well, sweet. Another guest question we have here is: have you guys created projects similar to this on any other chains? And if so, could you elaborate?
No. I'm just kidding. I can elaborate. I like to talk a lot anyway. I'll ramble a bit. No, I haven't built anything like this, and that's part of the reason why I was excited to build this. When I told people that in the Telegram chat that I was a Solidity dev and a front end dev, a couple projects reached out trying to work with me, and one was like an NFT game thing with like, I don't even know. I'll save specifics in case they ever release something, but it wasn't really up to what I wanted to do because it was essentially an NFT project. And I made one, and they're fairly simple to create. Like, it's hard to make something that's technically challenging because there's been so many ERC 721s and 1155s out there that, like, it's not a big deal to develop that. So I was excited to build this as a new project because it stretched my abilities as a developer and gave me something that I'm proud of that I can share as far as, hey, I built this new thing. I looked at previous naming projects and wrote the code for this one that's a little bit different, and here's why I made that decision, etc. So yeah, haven't built it on other chains. I don't plan on migrating this to another chain just because that seems a little silly, and it seems like value extractive if you're like, hey, I'm just going to port this code over here and then do it again. I don't really like that idea. I'd be more interested in doing something new, challenging if I start a new project somewhere else.
Dengi and I met during the Canto Hackathon. We did not knew each other beforehand, so we didn't copy-paste the code. Though in the previous Canto Hackathon, there were Ethereum projects that were launched on Ethereum, and their submission to the hackathon was just deploying on Canto. And some of those projects have been winning past editions. I don't think they will be winning in the future, since now there is many teams, and there are Canto native teams as well now.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So I guess what does the future of Canto look like for you guys? Like, what do we need to focus on first? Do we need to get more people in, or do we need to have sufficient tools and stuff for people once they get here? Like, what's the catalyst there? What does Canto need?
I think the boring answer, but the right one, is infrastructure. Like you mentioned, we need better or different marketplaces. We need choices, and I think we need a killer native app like GMX is to Arbitrum, for example, something that, oh, I'm going to Canto for this reason. And it's not just yield farming, which if you're not financial advice, maybe yield farm there. The yields are pretty good still, somehow on Canto. So I think that's what we need by and large, is some sort of killer app. I don't know. Like, I've got my degenerate friends who were, maybe this is alpha, I don't know. They're bridging over to Solana for Rollbit. I'm not doing that, but it's also because I got rugged on Solana in my early degen days, so I just don't want to go back over there. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what will bring more users, but I think we've had the influx of users. Things broke all the time. Things still break all the time. Like the Explorer breaks all the time. I know Victor was telling me, he's like, hey, can you change the Explorer because it's broken? I go, no, because they're both broken right now. So I think it's infrastructure, and then we need to have a catalyst so then we can handle the influx of folks coming in the next time there is a catalyst.
Makes sense. You guys are helping in that regard, right? Building a little bit of infrastructure. Do you want to add something there, Victor?
Yes, I think another way to rephrase this is that now the blocks are empty, and they are not. Maybe like per block we have one transaction, and it would be nice to fill the blocks, let's say, and that would drive then fee, network fee, and network fee would then it's like the positive loop, right? And there is a CSR that we didn't mention yet. CSR is not specific to Canto, but Canto plans to make it big. Bengi, would you want to give the technical specificities behind CSR?
Sure. The contract secured revenue, basically what that means is I think it's 20% of the transaction fees that go to a trend. When you send a transaction, you pay a fee. And so that's done for a lot of reasons, but part of that is to secure the network, and part of that's to reduce spam. And part of what Canto is doing is paying contracts that opt in a portion of those fees. So the incentive there is to build a smart contract that everyone uses. Then you'll get like, if anyone's old like me, you'll remember this maybe, but like the Office Space reference of fractions of a penny, you'll get that accrued on every transaction through your contract. So I like that as an incentive structure, just because it'll encourage people to build. It'll encourage people to deploy smart contracts that will, then they need to get people to use those smart contracts. One counter incentive to that is it does not incentivize people to make hyper optimized contracts. And
extract as many fees as possible, as often as possible.
The day before we deployed Canto Name Service, I changed how I took out one validation that I had on names to check if it was already minted, because I was doing it off chain now. And just to save gas is why I took it out, because it's just my default setting, because I'm so used to using it on Ethereum. So like, that's one example of like, I should have just left it in there, because it would cost more gas to reserve each name, and I would be probably $3 richer right now, based upon getting that additional revenue from the additional gas fees. But I would not get focused on that incentive. The incentive period is to build stuff that people want to use. And so I think that is a huge unlock, and something that even the Optimism team said they were going to look into adopting as well, because it's just a good incentive structure for folks. So I can go more technical, but I don't think people care. It's more about the incentive of builders to build, and builders to build things that people want to interact with.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like all the shit coins that are like, oh, there's a 10% tax on any sales, and it gets redistributed, and you earn coins by doing nothing. It sounds like that kind of, but like but for contracts. So it's like what, everyone that opts into that, like I guess it just creates like an ecosystem that just collects from the taxes, or am I not getting that right?
No, that's a very good framework to think about it. But instead of going to the shitcoin developer on each time you send a sell or a buy, it, instead of going to the validator to the network, it goes to the contract. So that's the trade-off there. It's not like
Oh, so it's just
When
like
on
permanent
Ethereum.
enforced rule. It's like a per collection thing. So it's like a no matter what there will be. Well, no, because you're just sending an NFT. Yeah, I don't understand. Is it just for coins or is it for?
Any contract. So like there was recently a contract in Canto where I forget the exact structure, but basically somebody had to send a transaction every 24 hours or else whatever died. Like it's been done a few times on Ethereum or whatever on other chains. But even for that, if you registered the smart contract with what's called the turnstile, then you could get a small portion of the transaction fees that were sent to the contract. So it's an interesting mechanism. The bottom line for what I think you all should think about it, the takeaway should be builders are incentivized to build things that people will interact with. Builders are incentivized to build things where users will interact with the chain. And I think that's bullish long-term for Canto.
Yeah, that's the most bullish thing I've heard so far. Like just in our talk, because I'm not like I got a little bit into Canto, but I'm not super versed in it. So this is all just strictly educational for me. I'm learning right now. It sounds like forgive me, but there's not a lot of things that Canto does well. It sounds like most of the things break or just are problematic. But I mean, that at least is promising and it's at least unique, and it shows like sort of pushing the envelope forward a little bit. Aside from the yields, you did say there are fantastic yields. So that is, but you like you mentioned that you kind of need to have more than that, right?
I agree. Yeah, go ahead, Victor.
So in the guest question, I dropped the link of the Canto page of crypto fees. Right now, daily there is about like 3K of fees generated by Canto. It was 12K daily a week ago. Now it's 3K daily. So 20% of this, so 600 USD, goes towards the devs who deploy contract on Canto. The idea is that 600 USD is nothing. Yet, if Canto does 100x, it might become interesting, and then actually devs might be incentivized to put zero fees in the future, like in 1, 2, 3 years, to put zero fees or to collect zero fees from within the contract and just collect the fees generated by Canto. So it
That's
might actually
wild. Sorry. Please continue.
No, this is exactly it, and it might lead to free public infrastructure.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's like gave me goosebumps. So it's like a pseudo union for developers.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah. Does anything like that exist on other chains?
So
no.
Yeah.
The short answer for that is no.
Very cool. Yeah, that's what's up. Huh. Yeah, learned a lot today. Well, yeah, guys, we've exhausted all the guest questions and stuff. I'm definitely walking away from this conversation smarter than I walked in. But we still got a few minutes here, so I'm just going to kind of roll the carpet out for you guys. If there's anything you guys want to talk about or cover or something we missed, please, I just want to give you guys a minute here to sort of have the stage and talk your shit.
Sure, I'll go first. My takeaway from what you said was like, yeah, all I've heard is like Canto's kind of sucks. Things break. It's not built out enough. If you're a trader, like that's where you want to be. Like I remember bridging over to Canto when it first went live, and that was terrifying because nobody knew what was happening. But that's exactly when I was able to buy Canto at like 3 cents or whatever I did. I don't even think I did buy it then because I was terrified. But those opportunities are the ones that you should take. The ones that have friction, the ones that take effort, the ones that are weird and a little bit out of the norm, because that's exactly where I think you'll find the best returns in crypto. Another example of that, I recently helped quite a few of my like home Discord friends run validators for a testnet for a project. Like that sounds really scary, but it's actually not. And teams are incentivized to make it easy for people to run validators. So if you have some extra capital laying around and you can run something in the cloud, do that kind of stuff. I would not I'm having more fun in crypto than when I was trading NFTs, even when NFTs were up only, just exploring and finding new little niches that I care about. I do think, again, not financial advice. The next one that I'm really interested in is ZK, zero knowledge tech. So I'd look into that if you're at all in it for the tech. And last but not least, as far as Canto Name Service goes, next week, I'm hoping to have our node running. I'm building what's called a subgraph for Canto Name Service. That'll let us add some better analytics about the names and hopefully show a historic graph of the pricing of names. And then it's another piece of infrastructure that I think we need more of on Canto, is just ways to get data out. And then we're going to build better docs for our developer friends and hopefully get adoption by our peers on Canto as far as showing some names up. And last but not least, I need to figure out my priorities this weekend, but there's an issue on alto.build around showing names, because let's say the apes we'll use Canto long necks. If you buy Canto long neck number 69, it'll say Canto long neck number 69. Great. The problem is with a naming service, and you'll see this with ENS as well, the token IDs are gargantuan because they're a whole hash of the names string. Who cares what that means? All it means is it's a gigantic number. So the labeling of names is 1E and then some gobbledygook. So it's useless. So one of the things I want to build next as well is a link to a marketplace. Basically, you search for a name. Where can I find on alto.build? Click a button, then you go to that name. So yeah, that's my general advice and some next steps that we're taking with CNS.
Love it, man. Real quick, Victor, before you go, I just want to jump in because there was two comments. One was a question from chat, but I just wanted to agree with the first thing that you said about getting your hands dirty, jumping into something that is, not efficient or breaks often. MVHQ is all over Canto, man. They're like crazy about it. So yeah, people love it, man. It's giving people like old 2021 vibes type shit. When everything breaks and it's all just chaotic and every single drop is like guaranteed website down, et cetera, et cetera. The other one was Scotco had asked about ZK Tech. It looks like there's a little chitter chatter going on now, but just to clarify though, he asked, is that a chain like Canto, and do they have a test net? I looked it up. It looks like it's a protocol. So is that something that's going to be on multiple chains? Or explain the ZK zero knowledge tech to us.
Oh God, I need to find this link for you all. Let me look real quick.
Oh, apparently we have 2 1-character CNS holders in MVHQ.
Thank you, and I'm sorry. You all are degenerates, and I love you.
It sounds exactly like Ryan. It's fucking me up, dude. You sound like our main AMA host. You talk like him. You say things like he would say it. I really wish that he would have been here today so that you guys could just like Spider-Man point at each other the entire time.
I love it. All right, so ZK stuff. I dropped a link in the chat about what zero knowledge is. It'll blow your mind. It's crazy to me, but essentially what it does is it's a way to have rollups. One way to use ZK tech with blockchains is to have rollups that are more efficient and can have more transactions per second than you would expect and all that kind of stuff. So it's not one chain. There's quite a few, like Scroll is coming out with one, ZK Sync is coming out with one, Polygon Hermes, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. There are a ZK Sync, ZK rollup. All of that is a next stage, I think, in transaction efficiency on blockchains. And then the other part of it is actually privacy preserving, because you can, like Tornado Cash was built on zero knowledge technology. So one thing, like Victor was like, hey, what else could we build, Dangy? And he's like, hey, can we build a mixer? And I go, no, because I don't want to go to jail.
Prison, yeah,
like, that's not a thing that I want to do. So
is that like a bridge? Sorry, just for super non-technical people, is that you just bridge stuff in and that's a roll up?
Like Arbitrum or Optimism. You got it. Like when Base came out, was that yesterday? Yesterday. People were like, what is it? It's the Fed chain. I don't know. I don't understand. You got to go through Coinbase. Like, no, like you'll change your RPC in MetaMask and you'll be on the other network. So your experience will be very similar. But that's also like going back to your original point of like, if it's painful, do it. There are some that require different wallets. Like, I think Argent is one that is a ZK rollup that is also a wallet. So that's one that I would look at as an option to investigate.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, appreciate you diving in on more specifics on that. Victor, did you want to give us a wrap up speech here?
Like we said it all. There is just one thing that I'm not that is like technical and it's not my specialty, but we haven't mentioned it within the call. Is that there is a world in the future where if the blocks are full, or they are getting close to full, the Canto blocks, Canto can turn deflationary, just like Ethereum did recently. And so it was voted, it was adopted in one of the governance voting that happened. And of course, it's a maybe. It's something that can happen in the future, but it's worth mentioning that if Canto really does one 10x after another 10x, and the blocks are full, then it can also be deflationary.
Let's do it then. Let's build the dApps. Let's fill those blocks, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, appreciate you fellas taking the time to come talk to us today. I know the MVHQ is bullish on Canto. I'm a little bullish now after hearing some of the stuff that's in the works. So thanks for enlightening me and taking the time to answer all these guest questions. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be watching. Like I said, we got some one-digit holders, man. I'll be watching you like a hawk.
I love it. Thanks for having us. Thanks for the invite. Shout out to Clampy, because I think he was also a plug in getting us to chat with you all.
Thank you so much, guys.
Love it. Yep. Thanks, fellas. Y'all have a good one.